Think she doesn't care? Think again. Silence isn't empty, it echoes. On the surface, she'll look composed, breezy, untouchable. Life goes on, the smile stays, and everything seems fine. But right beneath that calm waterline, there's a riptide forming. The very moment you stopped chasing, the moment you quit auditioning for a part you already earned, the entire dynamic tilted. And with every day you stay quiet, the questions in her mind get louder. Did I misjudge him? Why isn't he pursuing me like before? Did I just let something real slip away? If you think she's unfazed, stay right here. Over the next few minutes, Stoicism Drive will walk you through what actually happens inside her head when you stop pouring your attention into someone who didn't value it. See this clearly once, and you'll never chase validation again. 1. The unexpected power of silence. When you're hurt, your reflex is to react. Send the long text. Explain your side. Demand closure. Prove your pain. That's exactly what's expected of you. Those reactions are a scoreboard that tells her, I still care, and you still have influence. But the real power move? Silence. Calm. Grounded. Unbothered silence. Not ice-cold games. Not passive aggression. Just self-respect. Nothing scrambles expectations like composure where drama was predicted. When someone hurts you, they usually anticipate a flare-up so they can measure their impact. Your non-reaction removes the measuring stick. Suddenly, the interrogation light turns around. Why isn't he reacting? Did he not care as much as I assumed? Is he actually already over me? Silence forces her to sit with her own thoughts without your reassurance as a cushion. There's no emotional receipt to collect. No little spark of your reaction to feed control. That's why this isn't manipulation, it's self-governance. You're not withholding to punish. You're conserving your value for people who value it back. And when you don't follow the old script, the narrative in her mind starts to crack in all the right places. 2. Reversing the power dynamic. Most men double down when they're hurt, over-explaining, over-proving, over-giving. But the more you campaign for someone's approval, the more you position them as the prize and yourself as the candidate. Chasing confirms their importance. Emotional spirals confirm their influence. Do the opposite. Walk away with dignity and refocus on you, your habits, your standards, your craft, your purpose, your peace. That move short-circuits her expectations. She assumed you'd keep orbiting while she decided how bright to shine. When you stop fueling the orbit, she's the one staring at the sky wondering where the gravity went. Did she miscalculate? Why isn't he trying anymore? Is this actually the end? That's when the tables turn. You stop hoping to be chosen and start choosing. There's a difference between wanting connection and abandoning your standards to get it. You're done abandoning yourself. 3. The fear of losing you kicks in. People value most what they sense they could lose. When you were always there, quick to reply, quick to reassure, quick to rescue, there was no urgency to appreciate you. Certainty kills gratitude. Detach with grace, and uncertainty shows up. Suddenly every unanswered ping becomes a pebble that hits the surface and ripples out. Every quiet day asks a louder question. Am I actually losing him? She'll try to look unbothered at first, but internally she's scrolling your old messages, rewatching your stories, glancing at her notifications, hoping your name pops up. Control slowly gives way to concern, and then to vulnerability. That's the spark that flips the roles. 4. The tests begin. When she senses she's no longer steering the interaction, she runs diagnostics. A casual, hey, a throwback photo with a conveniently placed male friend, a sudden burst of likes on old posts. These aren't olive branches, they're litmus tests. Here's the trap. Respond too fast and you hand back the controller. You confirm the old equation, her breadcrumb, your sprint. A grounded man recognizes these signals for what they are, temperature checks. Not transformation. The real test isn't that she says something, it's whether she shows up with sustained effort and accountability. If regret is real, action won't be lazy, and change won't be part-time. 5. The ultimate shift. She starts chasing. When her light touches don't move you. Something flips. Now she's initiating. finding reasons to talk, reminiscing about the good parts, probing for a path back. Why the sudden shift? Because nothing intensifies attraction like the real possibility of loss. This is where a lot of men drop their boundaries. They see effort and instantly collapse into availability, forgetting what hurt. Abandoning standards, rewarding inconsistency with access. Do that, and the old cycle reboots. Challenge disappears. Interest fades, and you're back at square one. The grounded response is patient and measured. You observe the pattern over time. You don't confuse a burst of nostalgia with the work of rebuilding trust. 6. Regret replaces certainty. She told herself you'd crack first. That you'd break the silence. That you'd do what you always do, overgive. But when the quiet holds, when your focus clearly shifts to your own life, regret begins to seep in. She starts replaying what she minimized: your loyalty, your support, the safety of your presence, the steadiness you brought to chaos. Distractions rush in, new dates, new plans, new parties, but distractions are loud and short. Regret is quiet and patient. In the silence of her own room, the truth lands. The man who cared deeply might not be within reach anymore. Real regret is rarely immediate. It compounds, and then, often all at once, it arrives with clarity. 7. Watching from a distance. Even without reaching out, she's looking. She checks your socials more than usual, asks mutual friends vague questions, tries to map your life without alerting you. She'll tell herself she's just curious. But the curiosity has a motive: confirmation. Has he moved on? Is he happier? Does he still care? If she sees you steady, trained, focused, calm, not bitter, not performatively over it, but genuinely centered, that's when the discomfort gets real. Regret transforms into fear. Not just losing you, but someone else experiencing the best version of you. 8. Loss of grip. Loss of certainty. Here's a hard truth. Some people want to move on and still keep the key. As long as she believes she could come back and find you waiting. The loss never fully lands. But when you're truly leveling up, not posting for attention, but living on purpose, something changes. She can't summon you with a ping. She can't provoke you with a post. The script where she says jump and you ask how high is over. For the first time, she's not in control of the timing. And lack of control breeds urgency. 9. Attraction spikes when certainty fades. When certainty disappears, desire often rises. Now she's the one strategizing. She wonders how to re-earn your attention, how to stand out again, how to be seen by the man who's no longer doing cartwheels to be seen by her. This is where your focus matters most. Don't pivot your life to be seen. Keep building. Let your standards do the speaking. When your life is anchored to purpose instead of reaction, the dynamic has nowhere to go but honest. 10. Mixed signals and breadcrumbing. Confusion creates inconsistency. You may see a random like on a post from months ago. Whoops, wrong person, message, or a story that just so happens to reference a memory you share. These are not bridges, they're probes. If you chase those crumbs, you confirm the old cycle. She flicks the porch light. You sprint to the door. Hold your line. If she's serious, she'll step onto the porch, knock like an adult, and state her intentions. Ambiguity is for games. Clarity is for growth. 11. A real attempt to come back. If your composure holds, the gestures can evolve into action. A direct message that owns the hurt without deflecting. A willingness to hear you without centering herself. A real apology. One that names specifics and accepts consequences. That's different. At this point, the power is yours, not to punish, but to decide. What are your standards now? What boundaries protect your peace? What pace keeps you clear-eyed? This entire process was never about winning her back. It's about winning yourself back, your self-esteem, your attention, your time. Once you truly grasp that, chasing stops permanently because you're rooted in something deeper than approval. 12. The jealousy play. When control slips, some people reach for the oldest lever. Suddenly, She looks happier than ever, orbiting guys in photos, dropping flirty comments, projecting a new life that just happens to be super visible to you. Understand what you're seeing: performance. It's not about joy, it's about reaction. The goal is to pull you back into an emotional tug-of-war. The grounded man doesn't audition for that scene. He doesn't argue with the performance. Either, he simply declines the role and continues his path. When the play fails to land, the realization sets in. She's losing her grip because you're not gripping back. 13. Overcompensation mode. When the usual tactics don't work, jealousy, tests, breadcrumbs, overcompensation arrives. Now she's hyper nice, liking everything, sending long messages, reminiscing about what we had, proposing coffee, just to catch up. It can feel warm. Sometimes it is, but often it's a plea for reassurance more than a plan for repair. Ask sharper questions. Is the effort consistent over time, or just a surge of panic? Is there concrete change, or only nostalgia? Is she rebuilding trust through actions, or asking you to reset the past on feelings alone? You're not playing for a short-term dopamine hit, you're playing for long-term alignment. 14. Let's just be friends. If nothing else sticks, the friendship card often appears. On the surface it sounds mature, but functionally it can be a safety net, ongoing access without accountability. If friendship were truly the goal, there'd be no jealousy when you thrive, no surveillance when you go quiet, no covert tests to see if you still care. You decide. Are you content being an option while someone keeps their options open? A high-value man answers with boundaries, not speeches. Respectfully decline the role that doesn't honor you. Here's the truth. When you stop chasing, you don't become cold, you become clear. Silence isn't revenge, it's respect for yourself. Boundaries aren't walls, they're doors with locks that you control. Purpose isn't a distraction, it's the main story. You're not punishing anyone, you're aligning with people who meet the standard you live by and releasing the ones who don't. If this resonated, hit like, subscribe to Stoicism Drive, and tell me in the comments which stage you've seen play out and how you handled it. Share this video with a friend who needs a reminder to protect their peace. Your story might be the perspective someone else needs today.